Graham Potter has been sacked as the Chelsea manager. This is official news direct from Chelsea Football Club. Julian Nagelsmann and other names are mentioned as the replacements, but the statement, as you can see here, reads that Chelsea Football Club announced that Graham Potter has departed the club. Graham has agreed to collaborate with the club to facilitate a smooth transition. In his time at the club, Graham has taken us to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, where we will face Real Madrid. Chelsea would like to thank Graham for his efforts and contributions, and we wish him well for the future. It is done. It is dusted. It is official. As you can see, Graham Potter leaves. Graham Potter's out. And I think everybody expected this. I don't think anybody is shocked by this news. I don't think any Chelsea fan is going to be sitting there and thinking, I didn't see this one coming. I'm surprised it took them until 8 o'clock tonight. I thought it would have been done straight away last night. No questions. That's it. Done. Finished. Over and done with. No problems. But it's now over. It is now finished. He will leave Chelsea Football Club with immediate effect. Julian Nagelsmann is expected to be the manager that comes in and potentially replaces him. But we will see. Of course, I want your instant reaction to this. I want to get your thoughts. I want to get your feelings. I want to understand, Chelsea fans, how you feeling about this? Rivals. Listen, I wanted him to remain there until you came to Old Trafford and played us. I'm a little bit worried about who you may be bringing in now, as it were. But we will see what happens in relation to that. If you want to join the show, let us know. We're going to get the link out soon. So I want to share it into the group chat. But the breaking news, so that everybody knows, we'll put it back up on the screen. Chelsea have departed ways with Graham Potter with immediate effect. It is done. It is dusted. It is over the line. He will not be returning. He'll be managing no more games. And as I've said already, it was a dot on the cards. It was an absolute dot on the cards. A dot on the cards to happen. It absolutely had to happen. I don't think anybody could deny this. By the way, I'd have loved them to have waited until Monday, so it was great for the for the top 6 show. But he is gone. If anybody wants to come on, let us know. We want to get your reactions to this, people. We want to get your thoughts. We want to get your feelings in relation to it. But who do you think should come in to replace him? That's going to be a big debate. That's going to be a big question now. But there's a lot of happy fans here. Look, beautiful news is what's been said here. Matty says Leicester have always been huge admirers of Graham Potter. Well, he'll walk straight back into a job and he'll do well at a club that size. He'll do well. The same as Brendan Rodgers should go to Tottenham. He'll do well at a club that size, a bit more of a budget than what Leicester will give him, and he'll do bits. Where does Potter go from here? Leicester will have him. He'll get another job. I really do think he'll get another job. There's no doubt about that in my mind. Why do Arsenal get so many clubs just as they get a new manager? I feel the same as a United fan, my friend. I feel absolutely the same in relation to that. I want to have a chat. We'll be sharing that link with you very soon. Indeed, it was a bit of a rush just getting this ready. I was literally getting just about to chill for the night, and then I see this news break, and I'm like, I can't leave my people. I can't leave my people with no update, with nowhere to come and talk and chat about it. So here we are. We're going to delve into it now. Of course we're going to do it. Of course we're going to talk about it with the Football Terrace. Probably bodged the thumbnail a little bit. I had to get everything done quickly. I've got no one working for me today. It's just me all by myself. But there we go. I just don't think that Peter wants to get cooked for the United loss. But at least it takes our minds off Man United losing. This here says sacked in the afternoon. Yeah, whenever you get the news, it's already been done. Like, they wouldn't literally sack him and 20 seconds later, like, tell the world. Does that make sense? Like, they would never do that. But yeah, it was always going to happen. It was always going to be done this way. Does that make sense? They were always going to end him in this way. And I know that maybe sounds a little harsh, but this is the way down it was going to go. Now I'm going to try and change my overlay in just a second. Legitimately, going to try and change my overlay while I'm live on the air. And I'm going to try and get this right. Let's go. Boom, I did it. Look at that. There's a statement on there as well. You can see up on the screen now. We'll be adding callers into that box momentarily as well. What I do need to do, though, is turn off this little thing there. So there's no, there we go. You can see the QR code on there. There we go. Got the transition done. One man team. I do a good job by myself. But the breaking news, in case you haven't read it yet, is that the Chelsea have departed ways with Graham Potter with immediate effect. They've thanked him. He moves on. He'll be taking charge of no more games. Trevor here says, Terry, is Nagelsmann going to Chelsea, Spurs, or Real Madrid? Well, this is the situation as I've read it. Spurs want him. Real Madrid and Chelsea admire him greatly. He's waiting to see who comes in. He'll pick Chelsea and Real Madrid over him. The big reports are Potter's going to go to Real Madrid, meaning that Chelsea is probably where Nagelsmann will go. And I think Spurs will end up with Brendan Rodgers. I think he'll end up with Brendan Rodgers. Yeah, that's what I think will happen. I think Spurs will end up with Brendan Rodgers. That is my take. That is my feeling on this matter. What a payday. Well, it does say that he's collaborated smoothly. So I bet you he's not getting all his money. That's one thing I'd say. I guarantee you he is not getting all of his money. There's almost no way he can get all his money. Does that make sense? Like he just can't get all of his money. He just can't. But that's a statement there from Chelsea's website that we've read out for you. But he has gone. I think Conte should go for a second stint at Chelsea. Listen, Conte's not a bad shout. Conte is not a bad shout. We'll get a little poll going on this, actually. We'll get a little poll running on who should be the next manager. I'm just going to get this up now. Who should replace Potter? Right. So who are we going to put in there? We're going to put Nagelsmann. Put Nagelsmann on the list. We're going to put Luis Enrique on the list. I'm going to throw Conte in there for a little bubble and see if anyone's after him. Right, Conte's name into the hat. We're not going to throw Zidane in because Zidane isn't going to come. Zidane doesn't want to come to the UK, so we're not going to put Zidane on there at all. I'm also going to throw Mourinho's name in there because he keeps talking to Chelsea as well. I'm going to throw that poll out there now to see who you think is going to be coming in. De Zerbi. Yeah, I don't think Boehly will go for another manager in this type of circumstance. I don't think that will happen. Tom Little is going to join me on the show now to have his say. There he is. How you doing, mate? Big news.
They couldn't wait till after Tuesday, could they?
No.
Couldn't let him have one last big day out at Stamford Bridge and then let him go then. No, they had to wait till us. Look, it's about time. He deserved to go. He's been, quite frankly, the worst manager of the season after being one of the shoo-ins for one of the best after the start. He's been that bad. His teams have never had a style. Chelsea thought they would turn a corner at times. I think the longest win streak was 3. Like, this has just been a stinker from start to finish. I think Todd Boehly came in and he believed that it would be very simple for a manager like Graham Potter to just manage that jump from Brighton to Chelsea. No. You need a step before that. And I think he's now realised that. Who they get next, I have no idea. It'll probably end up being Nagelsmann, which will be funny because then Tottenham are left with Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah.
If not Nagelsmann, though, Enrique. But then you got to look at just how badly this is. In a sense, how badly they've been run this year. They spent a lot of money to bring in Potter. They've now got rid of him, which has probably cost them even more money to get rid of him.
Yeah.
If they paid 20 odd million to get him in, they've got to have paid at least 40 to get rid of him, considering the wages he was on.
Yep.
That's not even including all the transfers that they've made. What's to say, a new manager's going to come in and go, okay, I don't like him, I don't like him, I don't like him. So that outlay that you just done in January is now completely offset because the new manager doesn't like them. I just think it's screamed of naivety. And it happens when a new owner who's never owned the club and the sport comes in. But Chelsea are going to have to hope that the next manager comes in and is able to steady the ship, because it's not looking great at the minute. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of unknowns within Chelsea at the minute, and this next appointment has to be spot on. They can't afford to go for another project manager.
No,
because this squad needs something other than a project manager. The squad has too many egos. The squad has too much reputation for a project manager to come in and deal with it.
But do you know what, though? I think, though, that there's so much of their backroom staff that the whole Leipzig RB model that they have gone for, I think, was probably the results of ultimately what's done him in. But I think what you'll also find on top of this, there will be an element of, look, suddenly Nagelsmann's available. Suddenly he's available, and maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks ago he wasn't. So you'll see a lot of journalists this week will start backtracking. They'll start being like, well, I know I said he wasn't close to being sacked, but suddenly Nagelsmann was available, and that changed things. And there's an element of it's a good thing. I think with the boardroom they've got, the people they've hired in to run the football club, I think Nagelsmann for them is going to be seen as a match made in heaven. They go for a Jose or a Conte, it's short-termism again. But I get a feeling, I don't know what our poll's currently saying here. Luis Enrique will probably win the vote. Well, 54% currently saying Nagelsmann, and then the rest are all on 14 to 15%. So Chelsea fans want Nagelsmann. I thought maybe they would want that short-termism again. Bring us a Conte, bring us a Jose. They could win for us instantly.
To be fair, though, short-termism works when you've got a squad that can win in the short term. But I think Chelsea fans realise this squad won't win. When you look at the squad that City have, when you look at the squad that Arsenal have, when you look at the squad that United have, and when you look at the squad that, God forbid, we have when we pull our fingers out, all them squads are better than Chelsea's. All of them are. Chelsea might have good players, but all them squads are better than Chelsea's. So bringing in Mourinho or a Conte type manager who's win now, that won't win them stuff now because there's just better teams. So maybe it is the right thing to do to go and back another project. But you can't. This project has to be backed by a manager with a reputation. This project has to be done by a manager who isn't taking a massive step up in terms of quality from Brighton to a Chelsea. I think that was where it massively went wrong. I think Brendan Rodgers said that when he came to us and he got sacked from us, and he came out afterwards and said, you don't realise the size of these clubs until you're actually managing them. I think that's exactly what's happened with Potter. You don't realise just how big these clubs are until you're managing them. And I wonder where Potter goes from it. Maybe Tottenham. Maybe Tottenham's the right step down.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So Bruno Salter will take care of Chelsea as the interim coach. I don't know who he is. He might already be at the club. I don't know.
He was like Potter's assistant at Brighton, which he took over. I swear he used to play for Brighton as well.
There we go. That's who he is. But I doubt they're going to do what. I mean, Spurs are saying they're going to do it till the end of the season. I doubt Chelsea are going to wait until the end of the season for a new manager. They had that Champions League game. You never. This is the thing. You bring in somebody with the right pedigree. Some will say that's Nagelsmann. Some might say Conte. Some might say Enrique. You bring them in now. I'm not saying Chelsea will win the Champions League, but you certainly intensify your chances. You certainly increase them, which is what they've essentially got to go out of their way to do. Josh here says, from poor transfers to poor managerial appointments, does anyone actually think or trust the owners to get something right for once? Because I don't. I mean, do you think? I mean, Chelsea fans. We're going to share the link if you guys want to come on and have your say on this. I'm going to put a link in this in the live comment section now. Chelsea fans, we want to hear from you. But I mean, do you think they'll get it right this time? Do you think that this Chelsea board with who they've employed will get it done?
Probably. I don't think because I just think they're going to go for the big name. I don't think they're going to try and take a gamble like Potter and hope that he develops and matches the stand. I think they're just going to go get Nagelsmann. And as much as I think Nagelsmann's an overrated manager, I do think that if he gets the level of backing that Potter's got, and they are crucially, I'm going to say this crucially, they are Nagelsmann signings, not club signings, then they'll be successful with them. The difference is, I don't think Potter wanted half of those players he ended up getting. I think they were very much bought for him, and he was told, work with them. Just go work with them. And I think that should have been when you saw the writing on the wall, when the manager's not getting the choice of target, when the manager's not getting not control of the transfers, but final say on the transfers, then there's got to be a worry. I think they've had this in the works for a while, Chelsea. But like you said, the sudden availability of Nagelsmann, combined with the fact that Tottenham and all them lot might be sniffing around him now, Chelsea will dive in. And I think Tottenham will rue it if they don't try and get Nagelsmann. right now. They have to postpone this plan of, we'll wait till the end of the season and hope he's still available. Not if you don't go in for him now, Chelsea will get Nagelsmann. You have to at least throw your hat in the ring and try.
Yeah, I don't think Spurs are not trying. I think Spurs have tried. Spurs fans won't like hearing it. I think they've tried and they've been told straight up, he's going to wait and see for other offers to come in. Spurs are just playing the waiting game because Chelsea might be available, because Real Madrid might become available. These individuals are going to wait. You're just not going to be able to get away from that. Chelsea OG joins us now, and Matt's joining us on the show as well. OG, what you saying, bro? Big breaking news.
Bro, I'm so happy. I'm over the moon, bro. You know, I was preaching it yesterday, man. Big up Matt as well, man. I know you woke up. I know it's like 5 a.m. there. It's not. I thought it was Australian Matt.
Different Matt. Yeah.
Big up, man. But yeah, when I saw this news, I was like, please let it be true. Club statement. I read it. I thought maybe someone might have hacked my phone and give me some fake news, try to play me. When I found out it was real, boy, I was over the moon, man. And they even, you know what, though? They even tried to rate him on the way out. Oh, he took us to the quarterfinals, stunning results to face Real Madrid. I was like, no, don't give him no props, man. This guy is the worst thing to happen since COVID, if I could say that, bro. Honestly, man, I'm just so happy he's out. I feel like we could finally move on. You know, we could just. I don't even know who's coming in yet. I've been given a few names. You made a little poll, right? What's your poll saying, Terry?
So the poll currently 55% want Nagelsmann. They're 14% Conte, 16% Luis Enrique, 15% Jose Mourinho.
I mean, forget JM, he's tied up, he's doing things, but Conte's free. I mean, you know, but Todd Boehly can't take a back seat and just be. Todd Boehly has to become the yes man with Conte. It's the opposite. Yeah. So I think it will be Nagelsmann. I'm not sure how much truth there is to us having to pay Bayern Munich money for him. You know, there's a lot of BS about that going around.
Yeah, because he's on garden leave, you would end up having to pay a small severance package to buy and to pay off the rest of that.
So what often happens with managers so sometimes when you see a manager that has like a big butt, so this also could be in Potter's agreement. So you may not be paying this 50-60 million pounds to get Potter out. What is often in the agreement is that if a manager gets a new job within a set period of time, you forfeit some of that money. Does that make sense? Doesn't always exist, but it may do. And the fact that Leicester look like they're going to go for Graham Potter.
You
guys could find yourself in a situation where you may end up having to pay, you know, 5 to 10 million euros to Nagelsmann for his gardening leave. But if you're not paying Graham Potter the huge amounts of money, it could work out for you, you know. And you guys had a touch like that in the past. You guys were about to sack Sarri, but then Juve wanted him, so they bought him out the contract. And you guys, well, that's why you guys delayed it. And I think he started the preseason because you guys were essentially waiting for that money to come in to kind of move him on. But Matty, I know you've been calling this guy out since day one. How happy are you right now?
Over the moon, mate. Over the moon. Honestly, he had no sense of direction. The players were looking for inspiration. It was like a ship without a captain. With no consistency brings no results, and no results brings no future. I've said this often enough, and I've been screaming for him to go out. And it turns out I was right again. Lampard, Tuchel, and now Potter. So, you know, I'll be the Mystic Meg next week. So, yeah, you know. But no, I'd be quite happy with a Luis Enrique, to be quite honest with you. Somebody that's proven. I don't think going back to Conte or Jose Mourinho is an answer. I mean, I wouldn't mind giving Nagelsmann a go. But I would give Enrique a go. He's a world-class manager. You know, get him in, you know. At least we've got a chance then with these players. So, and they would actually say finally a leader. You know, so that's my opinion anyway, Terry. But I mean, you know, but I would definitely have a.
I think Luis Enrique. Look, I would if I was a Chelsea fan, I wouldn't go back to Jose or Conte. I wouldn't go back. I'd never do that. You've done it because it just isn't going to end well. I think, especially with Jose. Nagelsmann's a risk because of his age, and there's still a lot of people in football that think he's overhyped. But you've got the RB project basically in your boardroom, and you might even look at some of the signings you've made. They're not for Tuchel. They're not for Tuchel's, and they're not for Graham Potter's. But maybe they're for a Julian Nagelsmann because he knows about that model, the style of play, you know, the profiles they go for. Luis Enrique for me is you've got Zidane. Zidane isn't attainable. I don't think he wants to come to England. Luis Enrique is the best available manager out there for you, in my opinion. This guy is an elite, world-class manager, and he was someone that I wanted alongside the reason I didn't really call for him at United is because he was still the Spain manager and he was never going to leave before the World Cup. So it was pointless, frivolous Man United fans talking about him. So I would go for Luis Enrique, but I do rate, personally, I'm different to Tom. I think Nagelsmann's a very good manager. I think he could do a good job for you. I just don't know about the pressure. Having essentially fouled at Dortmund, at Bayern Munich because he's been sacked, would he be able to cope with the pressure of the Premier League, the eyes, like the views we get, the media attention is far more intense in the Premier League than it is the Bundesliga. We're just a bigger league, tenfold, 100 times. So can he handle that? I would go with Luis Enrique, but either way, you've got rid of this manager, and that's the most important thing. And it's ahead of the Liverpool game, Chelsea OG. You must be maybe feeling just a little bit like, hopefully this will be a rocket up their backsides. Liverpool were awful at the weekend. If you guys can play with a bit more freedom and a bit more confidence, surely you think you can beat Liverpool now Tuesday.
Listen, I'm sick and tired with nil-nils. Like, I remember going Wembley last season thinking I just wasted my money. Like, thank gosh I skipped that FA Cup because I'm sick and tired of these nil-nils. We got one as well last time. I know Tom's saying something different, but I was feeling this one to be nil-nil again. But maybe with that manager bounce, hopefully if we're lucky, someone might show up like a Kyler Modric or Kai Havertz might actually finish one of these chances, and we might be able to get a sneaky win against Liverpool. I know you don't want to hear that, Tom, but you might.
No, it's written in the stars. I believe that Chelsea was one of the only games we could win out of this run that we've got. You've now got a new manager bounce. So guess what? We're going to go 0-4 in our last 4 Premier League games. We are going to get Europa League next season, and I'm going to have to sit there and watch my club buy Mason Mount off you.
I don't know about that anymore.
Jacob's joined us now. Jacob, who do you support, mate?
I am a Spurs fan myself, so thank you for having me. And I'm actually very concerned with this news that now we are going to get hungry for some Graham Potter. I talked with Chelsea OG a few days ago about this.
Big up, bro.
Big up, bro. I was actually very concerned that Chelsea's going to sack Potter any day now and that we are going to be next for him. Nagelsmann already said no to Spurs. Pochettino already said no to Spurs. Enrique already said no to Spurs. We're just scraping the bottom of the barrel now, and it just seems like a match made in heaven now that we would actually go and get Graham Potter, which I'm actually very concerned about. So I don't want that to happen.
Well, I think what's interesting with you guys is that you're also linked with Brendan Rodgers, and he's a manager that you went to 2 years ago, and he said no. In the summer where like 13 managers said no before Nuno, he was one of those 13 managers. So he becomes an option. The problem that you have, Potter's a good shout, but you're too big for Potter as well, in my opinion. I think he needs to go to a Leicester level size club who are bigger than Brighton and work his way up. There's still going to be too much pressure there. I honestly, right now, yeah, Potter or Rodgers is who Spurs are going to end up with. It's going to be one of those two managers because Enrique said no, Potter said no, and Nagelsmann will, in my opinion, the only way Nagelsmann comes is if Real Madrid and Chelsea tell him no. That's it. So, yeah, that's who you guys could end up with here. And, yeah, look, it could be a very interesting merry-go-round over the coming days. It really, really could.
Harry Kane ain't staying at Spurs when Brendan Rodgers walks through that door as manager. I'm telling you right now.
And I wouldn't blame him for any move that he makes. I mean, we're in shambles right now. It's almost save yourself, abandon ship. We're going down, and I wouldn't blame him. So,
yeah, I get that. I get that. I think that Brendan Rodgers, I actually think he'd be good for Tottenham. Though I think he would be perfect for your board and fans combined. Maybe not you individually, but that percentage of fans that don't really care about winning. He'd play pretty football. You'd get in and around top 4, but you'd be fashionable. The media would like you because he's a British manager. I actually think Brendan Rodgers ticks so many boxes. I think with Graham Potter, the reason why you might not do it is because it would be the third ex-Chelsea manager on the bounce. And I almost feel like that the PR in that is too bad. The PR is too bad. There's a great name being thrown out here, though. What about Vincent Kompany?
I would actually love him at Spurs. That video that came out when he was managing that Belgian side, I feel like if he did that to Tottenham, there would be some lawsuits on his hands from the likes of Eric Dyer, Ben Davies, Davinson Sanchez. These guys are too soft for a man like Vincent Kompany. I do want him just for the sheer fact I would love him to rip everybody a new one. That's just how I feel. I mean, one season with Burnley, what are they, 15 points clear in the championship right now? I think that he's doing a damn good job. I would like to see more before I say, here's the keys to the castle. But from what I've seen, the very limited amount, admittedly, I actually really like him. I would love for him to hit some home truths with the locker room, because I think that's the same locker room that's failed Pochettino. It's the same locker room that failed Jose Mourinho. You could say they failed Nuno, but I mean, it was a mutual failing on both ends there.
I get that. Chelsea wise, too early for Vincent Kompany.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think there's potential there, and I think he was a good captain for City, but I don't think he's there for Chelsea yet. I think he's got potential. We could say that, but I don't think he's not at level yet. So
yeah, I personally agree. I think the Vincent Kompany's, obviously Michael Carrick's name's been mentioned by people because of what they're both doing in the Championship. I say steer as a top 6 team. I say steer clear. And my advice to them, if I was managing or advising them, would be don't leave the club you're at for a couple of years yet. Like almost just keep nurturing your trade. You probably find Burnley are quite loyal as well. If he came up and then got relegated playing the way they play, they would stick with him. They did that with
Sean Dyche.
Sean Dyche, when he came up first, got relegated, stayed with him because they understand the limitations at the football club. Super chat here says, Terry, you are right. It should be Enrique, but I'd love to see Nkunku and Werner as reaction when we sign Nagelsmann. But suddenly then so certain German players might come alive. I think Nagelsmann is who it's going to be. I would personally go for Luis Enrique, but when you look at the board, the directors of football, the way you're buying, the RBS style, the only thing that hasn't it looks like it. Potter to get the England again. England jobs. Look, I think we all fell for this. A lot of us fell for not fell for Potter. He's a very good coach, but the notion of him stepping up and managing at Chelsea, at Man United for England, it's too much. He needs to go to a club like Leicester that are bigger and have more pressure than Brighton, and then work his way up from there. There has to be a stepping stone. England's far too big for him. It's far.
I said Everton was his level, but there you go.
Potter will get that Leicester job, and he'll do all right there. And then he's got to be very careful about his next job. To be honest, I think he could just toe the line perfectly as an England manager for the majority of people. He'd do exactly what Southgate done, but with slightly better football, and that'd get more people on side. That's all it'd be. The thing is, though, with Chelsea, if Nagelsmann does nothing for whatever reason, let's just say he wants Real Madrid as priority number 1. What are you saying to Poch?
Oh, bottle job Poch.
Yeah.
That's the only problem, man.
Yeah.
I usually it's the other way around. You get an ex-Chelsea. I don't want an ex-Tottenham. It wouldn't feel right on me, to be honest.
I don't want De Zerbi either, the Brighton manager. I think we should stay clear of Brighton, to be quite honest with you. They've already done us twice. So
you've got paid more for Graham Potter and his backroom staff than they've ever spent on a single player.
Yeah, I know.
Are they getting sacked as well?
But I think not right. They will do once a new manager comes in, but a lot of them will stay now because they have to have somebody to take training and to pick the team and everything else, and they have to be qualified of a certain level. He says hearing that Boehly is lobbying for Jesse Marsh. Obviously, that's a bit of that's definitely not happening as far as I'm aware. Anyway, can you imagine? The one thing that hasn't changed at Chelsea is the sacking of managers. There was this talk when they first came in of long-termism. As 2 managers in a year now that you've gone through. The hope's got to be now that you get it right, mate.
Do you know what? Right, I said this before. I think what was the point in sacking Tuchel in the first place? If it wasn't broke, don't fix it. What was the point? We've now paid to get rid of Tuchel, and now we're paying to get rid of Potter. We might as well have given Tuchel the season, to be quite honest with you. But, at the end of the day, I said personally for a while that the Chelsea job should be up to a world-class manager, somebody that's actually won things. We can't have amateur talent. And, we are a big club, despite what people say. We are a big club, and we need somebody to fill that void. And, we can't have like another Potter. We can't have somebody like that. We need somebody that can, I hate to say it, is rough and ready and ready to have a better challenge, somebody that's going to start winning us trophies.
I think this is what's interesting. George here says, why too early? Arteta hadn't even managed the club before he joined Arsenal. What I would say,
but he had Pep. He was managed under Pep.
Yeah, I watched that All or Nothing. He was good in the back.
So look, there's a few things there. Yeah, there's two things. There's three managers that I can think of, and there might be more out there in the world that I'm not aware of. But I think of Pep, and I think of Zidane, and I think of Arteta. And Arteta hasn't won a league or a Champions League yet, but he may do this year. That's three managers in 22 decades who have taken their first jobs and been brilliant and been good enough for a massive team.
Yeah.
Arteta's an even bigger rarity, though, because Pep and Zidane are Barca and Real Madrid, and Zidane, a footballing legend. So they walk into a room and they command a level of respect just for who they are. Arteta was a Premier League player. He's obviously known at Arsenal. He had a bit of respect. The Arteta situation is so rare. For me, he is the rocking horse shit. And if you know what I mean by that, I don't mean he's shit. I mean, it's rare, bruv. Being a player of his level without like legendary status, walking into a massive club like Arsenal was your first job and being successful. It's as rare as rocking horse shit. So I don't think he can be the example. Generally, most managers need time to build up their careers before they're ready for jobs of that magnitude, is my thought. We've got David joining us now as well. David, welcome to the show, my friend. What are you saying, bro?
I'm over the moon. I'm on my way home right now because I had training, but I'm so gassed. He's gone. I had been away I have not been on a show for so long because I've had life to deal with, and I have stopped watching football. Honestly, I hated it. I went to the Dortmund game, which was good. That was like the only good thing I think Potter did the whole time. Every other game I was watching, like, this guy, what are you doing? Like, oh, we were really close. Like yesterday's press conference for me was genuinely one of the maddest things I've ever heard. He was talking like it was a FIFA game. Oh yeah, we controlled the game except from in the two boxes, and we created 2xG, and McGinn's shot the XG wasn't high enough for it to be a goal. So basically, like we were playing well. It's just I was like, listening, like, bro, you're saying words, and right now it doesn't sound like anything. And I said it when we were having the good bit. I was looking like, we are playing well, and we're still not getting results. Everyone thought the results would come, and then what actually happened was the performances got worse, and the results didn't improve. And we're now in 11th. So for me, it's the only logical thing that could have happened, because we're almost in a situation where if you keep him on and you go like, oh, it was okay. Let's say Potter's thing of that we had the worst preseason ever. Okay, fine. Give him a preseason. What happens if he does this for the next 15 games? You effectively get rid of 2 years. And considering how much money we've already spent, you're putting us in a bit of a financial hole where it's like we have to be successful. So I'm happy he's gone. He had to go. Oh, I'm over the moon. I'm so gassed. Oh,
Big up, David.
David.
And I get why you're happy. And I've seen a lack of engagement from Chelsea fans in recent weeks. It's been hard getting panels put together. Egal, I'm going to go to Ray in a minute, but Egal joins us here. What are you saying, bro?
You guys celebrate, enjoy it, but the reality is your club is still a mess. This doesn't change anything in the short term.
No, we got to play you, Egal.
1 second. This is the reality, though. Graham Potter getting sacked. He's a sacrificial lamb because football is terrible. The owner is the real problem. He's the one who brought him in. He's the one who decided to keep him. He's the one who kept him, even though things were getting worse and worse and worse. You sign all these players. You make all these decisions. In the grand scheme of things, losing Roman Abramovich has led you guys to this point where you had this terrible manager, where you have this terrible squad, you have everything going on, and you're still holding on to if we kept Tuchel. It's not about if we kept Tuchel. The person at the top that's running your club doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and it doesn't matter until he gets the proper advisement and your club is run properly. You're not going to see much change. You're going to see a continuous cycle where maybe you sack managers or you continue to sign world-class players, but world-class players alone is not going to win you major trophies, major honors. You need everyone from the top down running well. And under Roman Abramovich, what you had was a place that was no nonsense. Under this new ownership, it seems like everyone's laughing and joking around. You guys are losing games. People are still smiling, talking about, oh, don't worry, we're going to get the next one. I'm not here to make fun of you guys. I'm just telling you guys the reality. Celebrate today, But the reality is, there's still a lot of work to do. And the rest of the season, after Tuchel got sacked, it was a free hit. Now, you don't even need to stress yourselves. You don't have no expectations on you for the rest of the season. As rivals, we're going to throw it on you. But the reality is, as fans, lower your expectations. You shouldn't expect anything from a team that has had 3 managers this season, so much changeover. Reality is, you have to look at the rest of the season as a free hit. Your ownership are going to really have themselves tested now, how they go from here on out. And that's where you guys got to go and look at yourself.
I think
I would.
So go on, David.
I was going to say, I would agree with you up until about January, because January is when we kind of got the whole backroom staff sorted out. And I feel like this decision is okay, everyone's had their say now. This is the right thing to do. Because I think if it was left to Todd Boehly, he would stick with Potter, because that is ultimately his guy. He was the one at the start of the thing. He was like, I want this guy. No, but Todd Boehly's not in charge Todd Boehly's in charge, but he's not running transfers anymore. That all the transfers we made after January.
He shouldn't be running anything.
No, but he's not. But he's not Egal. You're not listening.
No,
he's not.
He is, because
He's
when
not.
he hired Potter, he gave him a baseball contract.
He has final sign off.
1 second, you're giving all these players.
No, but you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know
No,
what
I
you're
do
talking
know what I'm
about.
talking about.
You
He's
don't.
giving these baseball contracts. What are you talking about? He's trying to change. He's trying to change football, giving all these players baseball contracts.
The baseball contracts,
thinking that it's going to secure your future.
are
It's
about
actually messing
financial fair play, Egal. It's
No,
not just because it's come from a different sport, it doesn't mean people don't know what's going on. The whole point of those transfers, everyone knows what the point of those transfers were and the contracts were. The whole point was to spread the cost.
What about him giving Graham Potter that contract? What about him giving Graham?
No. But again, that was when Boehly was making this. That's when Boehly was in charge. My point is that after January, when we got players like Enzo and Mudryk, regardless of what I think of those players, that's not Boehly. That's other people agreeing to those signings and Todd signing off, because ultimately he is at the top of the company.
You're not disagreeing with what I'm saying.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm not. But I said I agree with your point up to January. And my point is that now we're in a different spot. Your point is true up to a time period.
Yeah, he is. Egal, he is right.
Let me just interject for a second. Let me just interject for a second. Egal is right in what he's saying. So is David, and I think this is where we're missing. I just want to interject here. Egal is right, and all of you should be skeptical, irrespective of the announcement that Todd Boehly isn't running things anymore, because they've made 2 massive mistakes within a year of being there. So I would say Egal is right. Be happy with it, but there should be a lot of pressure now on your board to get the right appointment. Do you guys actually trust? Like, that's the question I suppose Egal's asking is, do you trust David? Do you trust Matt that you're going to get it right this time?
I say, my personal opinion, I'm still skeptical. I said when they first came in that the eyes would be on them, right? Because whatever choice they make, it'll be watched with open eyes, and it will be watchful eyes. And they've already screwed up once, so it's up to them to get it right the second time. Now, I'm skeptical still because of the talent ID, but if we've got Christian Favell that's actually running the day-to-day, or Lawrence Stewart as well, Paul Winstanley, I think we'd at least get it right. But if it was up to Todd Boehly, we would have Potter to the end of the season. Yeah, that's what I would say.
There's a super chat here for Egal that it says, Egal, aren't owners allowed to make mistakes?
Like Conky.
Listen, owners make mistakes, and it costs the club a lot of money, and it can cost them a lot. In the grand scheme of things, owners are going to be there longer than managers. But what he's done is he's come in and he's made too many changes from the get-go. And we've called this out. You've called this out. Other people have called this out. And I'm just saying this is what has led you guys to this situation. So you agree with me. He's made countless mistakes, but the category of mistakes is ridiculous. You don't come in and you don't sack all the chefs in the restaurant and bring in new chefs in a matter of days. You take your time and you gradually weed them out.
Yeah. Are you worried, Egal?
What?
You're, like Tom Little mentioned it earlier, it was better to play us with Potter than it is to play without. Aren't you worried now that we still got you? We could get 3 points like we used to do at the Emirates.
No, I honestly don't care
a
about
different
Chelsea this
conversation for a
season.
different
I
day,
just,
man.
I just see so many
This is
issues. I just see so many issues at Chelsea that I'm not really worried on the pitch. Unless I see you guys improve on the pitch, there's nothing to really be worried about until I see improvement.
I'm gonna clip this when we beat in the Emirates, yeah.
No, but do you see improvement? Do you see improvement in your squad just by sacking a manager? Do you think you're automatically going to improve? I
Well,
said
if
it
I
from
look
the
at
jump.
history,
I said it from
yeah.
the jump when you guys hired Graham Potter that it wasn't going to change, that you're going to need to stick with him for a year before you see massive change. And Terry, you remember that stream?
No,
But
no,
when it-
yeah, I do. That's why I backed
But
what
when
you
it
said.
comes down to it, you guys have a squad that you just compiled. Everything's not going to be all rosy. There's going to be growing pains.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from there. We've got some more super chats I want to do here to respect the viewers. It says this is the problem with Boehly's model of paying over for players and managers and playing via amortization over years only works until you get rid. Well, that's very true. That's why they have to start getting it right. And we have to also wait and see. The news will come out and work out how much compensation they've paid. I get a feeling, I almost guarantee 50, 60 million was the quoted amount. I bet he's taken less than 10 compensation. So that will help. I think there's been a mutual understanding here. Owners cannot make mistakes when spending that much money. No, they need to restructure and clear out, is what Dan T has got to say. Mount's 30 GA last year was dismissed by your Chelsea panel due to being against bottom half teams. Now our attack can't get one. Spoiled plastic fan base.
I don't think I said that.
I actually was one of the only people who didn't cook Mason Mount last year. I would like to point out.
By the way, when they're cooking all these their managers and everybody else, who's the one person that kept saying Todd Boehly is the issue?
You did. No, you certainly did. Look, whenever a club goes from manager to manager and it's poor, it's always ownership. It's always the people that run the club because they employ those people. And for me, I'm someone that I still think, and I stand by this, in the medium to long term, I think Chelsea are going to get this right. I think they will get it right in the end. That's why I think they should go for Julian. That's why I think they're going to go for Nagelsmann. I think it'll be very good for them. I think it's going to fit what they're trying to do. I'd go Luis Enrique, though. But you never know. If they do, by the way, do a shock and bring a Jose back, then my mind will completely change. Because then there's no plan. And if there's no plan, you're going to go backwards. George here says Chelsea are inevitable. With all that money they spend, they'll be changing very soon. It's just a matter of time, is what George says. Blaze says, Egal Boehly is not the reason we lost to Southampton or even Tottenham. The owners are not the problem. They literally just acknowledged their error.
No, that's not true. They came in and they brought in the new manager. They came in, they sacked the whole backroom staff, got rid of Marina, got rid of Petacek and all these things. So who's to say if you still had some of those people back there, you would have had a little bit more consistency and continuity from the top down, which could have meant you get more wins.
Egal, just because I feel like you made a point and now you're trying to equate that point for it to be the reason, when realistically, no matter how no matter what we did on the pitch to get players on there, we should have beaten Southampton. Spurs is okay. Spurs is what it is. But it's a mix. Again, Egal, we're agreeing, but it's coming out in different ways. It's
what I was responding to the super chat saying that doesn't excuse why we lost to Southampton. Yes, it doesn't excuse why you lost to these teams, but it can you can understand why your team is in the state that you're in because of the decisions that led up to it.
Yes, but my point is that yes, we may not have had consistency, but even with that inconsistency, we shouldn't be this bad, and that's where the whole thing of let's get rid of Potter comes in.
This is what inconsistency causes, a shambles of a football club.
Egal, even you with your opinion, if I'd asked you after 28 games, where would Chelsea be? You would not have said on 38 points in 11th. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have, but the reality is I had no expectations for you guys. I expect you guys
so Egal, my point is that somewhere in that gap between your opinion of this is going to go awfully to where we actually are currently,
I think I'm being quite balanced. I don't know what you're talking
No. My point is that Potter has to be that gap, because you even saying there's inconsistency. I don't like the signings you guys are making, and Boehly has no idea of what he's doing. Even with all of that information that you knew you had, you didn't even think we'd be this bad. So that difference has to be Graham Potter.
Hey, you want to know why you're this bad? You're this bad because Todd Boehly doesn't know what he's doing, and he's
No,
continuing.
but Egal, you already knew that. My point is, you already knew that.
But this guy,
You already knew that.
listen, just because
We're going around in circles, boys.
just because you know something's an issue, because you see the worst case, now you're saying this is the worst case scenario. No, it could be worse. You could be relegated. So it's not the worst case scenario. The reality is Chelsea Football Club, this is what happens when you continuously have chop and change positions of key positions that make decisions at the club. And now you have a mess of a team that don't like the manager. You have a board who didn't trust the manager but continued to keep him in charge because the ownership made a decision and they wanted to stick by it, and they gave him a large contract. Their ego kept him in a job, continuously making you lose, drop points. And the reason why you continue to lose is because if this was an old regime, they would have sacked him a long time ago. They wouldn't have given as long as a contract. And this is why you're in the state that you're in today. You wouldn't have lost to the team you lost to the other day, Aston Villa, if you had another manager in after you gave him only a 2-year contract and a better terms where you can get rid of him a lot easier and you give yourself more flexibility. At the end of the day, as much as you want to give all the credit to Potter, when Potter leaves tomorrow, you lose another game, you won't have him to blame. You'll only have Todd Boehly.
But Egal,
I get that. Sorry, we'll come back to this in a minute. Sorry, because there's been some more breaking news that's come out. Stay with us, guys. So from Matt Law has said that the players have found out via the club website. They had no idea it was coming. The decision was led by Stewart and Win Stanley. So not Todd Boehly. He has said no immediate successor is lined up. But he goes on to state that Chelsea do not have to pay the full value of his contract that would have been £50 million. Another bit of information has just come out from Fabrizio Romano, who says, understand they've already made approaches for Julian Nagelsmann to be the new Chelsea head coach. Talks will continue to make the final decision, but he's the favorite. So right now, according to Fabrizio Romano, the favorite is Julia Nagelsmann, and that matches up with the poll that's currently going on here, where 55% still want him. This super chat here says, Egal, please shut it. This is what we can expect from Arsenal fans if they win the league. They become noisy. For the last years, they've been silent. In fairness, Egal's always been noisy.
I've been like this for 3 years. So
yeah.
Where is your Canadian brother as well?
Where have you been?
Terry, what makes Arteta even more rare than Zidane? Already had a great squad. Pep and Zidane already had a great infrastructure behind them. Arteta had to rebuild. That's very true. And I had people messaging me all afternoon saying Ten Hag would be sacked if he was at Bayern Munich or at Real Madrid. And you're right, he would be for this. He would be for this season. The difference is that if he took over a Bayern Munich that had been shit for 10 years and the club was in disarray, the squad was awful, and they just had their worst season in 45 years, hadn't won a trophy in 6 years, he wouldn't be sacked for doing what he's done so far this year because he'd be rebuilding them. If he took over Man United from the best team one of the best teams we've ever had, and was having a season like this, he'd be sacked, and rightfully so. So you have to look at the context of a situation always. It's a great point you've raised there, my friend. Any manager walking into 30 first-team players is going to take time to settle. Even if these long-term contracts are meant to avoid FFP, it creates bigger problems within the squad. Not smart. Look, I think Graham Potter was definitely hamstrung by some of the decisions the club had made, and Egal has rightfully called them out. Still, though, he should have been more assertive. He should have turned around to about 7, 8, 9 of them and just said, "You ain't kicking the ball the rest of this year. You're going to go sit in the stands." His mistake was trying to keep them all happy and rotating too much and overplaying them. Chelsea lacked resilience. They had none. And as soon as they missed a few chances or conceded the goal, they capitulated and went away. Where have I seen this before? Man United last season. That's why Ralph Rangnick had a 35% win ratio, because we had no resilience, because the players were just, for one reason or another, were done out here. And that is partly on Graham Potter, but on top of that, it's the ownership. Egal's right, in my opinion. They have created this mess, and it's their job now to fix it. The question I've got for the Chelsea fans, I want to go to David first on this. I see a few Chelsea fans online saying if we can't find a manager, let's give it to John Terry till the end of the season as the interim.
No.
Why not?
I don't like John Terry. I'll leave it at that.
That's personal, though. That's personal.
So,
let's go from
why would, again, yes, it's personal, but why would I want that kind of person running my football club?
It's not running. He's there temporarily. Right now, we've
But
got
why would
Bruno.
I? Why would I? Why would I want that?
Because Di Matteo
Look,
done it. And what would he win us?
I should drop my morals for 10 games. Come on, let's do better than that.
Okay.
Let's
If
do
it's
better than
personal,
that.
then that's just you.
I
innit?
hear
That's
that.
different.
I hear
That's
that.
different.
This here says Chelsea are different. Sack the manager equals trophies is what I
Champions
see.
League.
You guys are not winning nothing. In
May
the
I
next-
ask a question?
All right. Okay. But if we do win it, yeah, you owe
One
me
second.
tickets to Istanbul.
No,
we go to the
understand. This is not Roman Abramovich. Todd Boehly, his moves, all of his moves are long-term success. None of his moves have been instant success. Until I start seeing moves that tell me that he's looking for instant success, I won't believe that you guys are coming for major honors. That's just me. Am I lying?
That's your
Am I lying?
opinion.
No, it's
I'm
not an
saying,
opinion.
don't be surprised.
Your owner has literally made it clear that the way that he's going is signing young players with high ceilings that he doesn't know.
Listen, look. Mudrik's probably the only one that I'll say, all right, this guy's not going to play. Him, Madueke. Enzo's young.
Have you signed one player since that shows me that you're trying to win now?
From the beginning or from January?
From January.
Obviously, Enzo. Whether Enzo was 28 or 25 or 22, that had nothing to do with his age. He's Enzo Fernandez. It was just a coincidence that he's young. You know what I'm saying? Badishil. I knew that Badishil. I knew we needed a YG, a young bull, to play with one of these older bulls, Thiago or Koulibaly. We couldn't have two geezers in the back.
Badishil is a win now signing.
Bruv, the way he's playing.
Come on, we're not going to do that.
But Enzo for sure. Enzo, don't even try say Enzo's a project youth. We got him because he's a world leader.
You guys are building for the future.
You are building for this is the thing, and that's why I think the Contes or Jose's or anybody like that, Simeone, they're no-nos. It has to be. I think it does. I maybe I've changed my mind from the beginning of the video. Has to be a project manager if you're buying like that. You know, your manager. That's why a lot of people thought Graham Potter was going to do it. The problem is with Graham Potter, and I said it last night. He was a virgin who was trying to date a porn star. Simple as that. He was 100% a virgin.
Still could be nice for him at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it looks nice. It looks that's mate. You hit the nail on the head. It looks good. You know, imagine you and all your virgin mates, right? None of you have got girlfriends. None of you have ever been laid. It's like the beginning of American Pie. And then one of you walks in with a world-famous porn star on your arm. It's going to look good, but not when it comes down to the business. Then you're going to start to fail. Then you're going to have some real bad floppy moments. It's going to happen. And that's what happened to Par. This super chat here says, I wonder how many times... Listen, when you wrote this, when Egal was talking, I was researching what was being said. I was putting your super chats up. I was making sure the stream was working. I can multitask. Men can. Probably why I've got so much anxiety nowadays, because I'm like this. I'm just stressed the whole time I stream. You guys liking the new setup as well?
Yeah, it looks good, man. Looks good.
Doing our best. Bruno will win us the champions. He will want to make a name for himself, and players now have a point to prove. I don't know much about him at all, but Sam, thank you.
Have you seen his picture?
No, I'm not up close. I'll go and have a look at it. I'll go and have a little look. Chelsea bought players without vision, or why did you buy 15 players? Nobody does that. Not even Real Madrid. It all looks unplanned from the outside.
To me, I think from an outside perspective, this to me just seems like American pride. When he came in and he bought that club, he said, look, I'm going to appoint my manager. I'm going to sign 15 players that I want. 10 players? No, 15 players. I'm going to get a new physio in. I'm going to clear it all out, gut the house from root to stem, and then put in what I want. These are my paintings. That's my wallpaper. That's my light fixtures. So then when people come in and compliment the house, no, this ain't Roman's house. This is my house. And that's just my perspective as a Spurs fan, as an American. I could see it as like, this is mine. I'm going to do exactly what I want to do. Yeah, I could have advisors, but it doesn't mean I'm going to listen to them. I mean, at the end of the day, you pay people to be yes men, right? If you look at the Spurs, Levy's board is filled with yes men.
But you're not. But this is it. You're not meant to. See, this is a crazy thing. I think it was Steve Jobs that said this, but it's been my mantra when it comes to business. I don't employ KJ to tell him what to do. I employ KJ because he's got a skill set where he should be telling me how to do his job. He knows how to do his job. Unless you're bringing in an apprentice who doesn't know what to do, you've got to teach them. People should come in and know their jobs. No owner of a football club is an expert in every department of the football club. The manager should be telling you what to do. The head of scouting should be telling you what to do from a scouting point of view. And that's why Man United are at a problem under the Glazers, because everybody's a yes man to them. Nobody challenges them enough, and
you know,
it always fails.
I was just going to say this. I'm going to head off. I feel like I've beaten the drum so many times with Todd Boehly. But the reality is, Chelsea fans, celebrate, enjoy the fact that you've gotten this small victory. But the reality is the war is nowhere near being done. The manager that you have is not going to dictate if you win trophies. What's going to dictate if you win trophies is if your owner can ever get himself together. Because this is not Chelsea under Roman Abramovich. This is Chelsea under Todd Boehly. And Chelsea under Todd Boehly has not shown any level of structure that can show and adhere winning. Your last victory was under Roman Abramovich. Until your new owner shows that he can achieve silverware, I am never going to believe Chelsea Football Club can win under Todd Boehly.
As much as it pains me to agree with Egal, I have to agree 100% because that's the same problem Spurs have. It doesn't matter. You bring Jose, serial winner. Oh, we got Conte, Jose in his prime. He's going to win us something. It doesn't matter. You can get a project manager. You can get a serial winner. At the end of the day, if you're running improperly from the top down, everything's going to get affected. And I think we're starting to see the beginning stages of that for Chelsea, honestly. The similarities between Chelsea where they're at now and where they could be in, say, 15 years kind of sounds like Spurs to me.
I don't hear this though, because you're all judging us for the first 6 months of Todd B's reign, and that's the whole process is now different. So how can you judge us for an old process that's not even in play anymore? You're saying Todd Boehly's this guy who doesn't know what he's doing and he's involved too much. He's not involved anymore. So how is everyone saying, oh yeah, Chelsea can't do this, can't do that, when it's like that's not what's going on? Do I agree there was like clear errors in judgment? Yes, but this is an example of the club going, we made an error and we're trying to change it, and hopefully they appoint the right person. That's where we're going to see what are they thinking about. But that's for another day, because we don't know who they're going to appoint. But my point is that people are judging us for a thing that's not in play anymore, which doesn't make sense to me.
I get that. This super chat here says, I'm sorry, but Potter doesn't help himself with the amount of poor results he's had. LT project or long-term project or not. I'm just disappointed to have to start over again. Just glad it's nipped in the bud before the summer. Feel bad for him. And that is the important thing, because if you'd have gone on to the summer and then maybe started pre-season, you start walking into another season that could be written off. African Giant also says, countless. Okay, you're waffling now. Just stop. I think he was talking about Egal. I don't quite know. The last time Chelsea beat Arsenal at home was it 2012 or 2013? The last time you beat them at the Emirates?
Hey, we're going back to that. Boys. It's become a regular thing now.
Winter Surfer joins us now. How you feeling, mate, with this brilliant news for you lot?
Happy Graham Potter Independence Day. I was doing a tour for like an hour. And I didn't check anything, and then I've got like 50 notifications of what the hell's going on. Graham Potter's done. Terry, I didn't think they were going to do it. I thought they were going to give him till Real Madrid, something like that, because I thought there was like some clause in his contract where there's a Champions League thing or something like that. But listen, I've been telling you for weeks, you need to get. I told you yesterday, you need to get him out as quickly as possible, because there's too much damage now. There is too much damage. You need to get him out. And for whatever happens for the rest of the season, now it's about appointing the right person. And I think you need to appoint him even for the season, next season. You need to get them in and start repairing. Because because we are still in the Champions League. Whatever anyone says, we're still in the Champions League. So, I don't think we're going to win it, but there's an opportunity there. We can't be walking dead into next season and waiting until the summer to appoint someone new. If Nagelsmann's your guy, then appoint him as soon as possible.
As
soon as possible.
Act quickly, efficiently, and get it done. And I think what's interesting about it is why I was really confident that he was going to go this weekend is the rumors around Tuesday, Wednesday that Nagelsmann's on a short list and you're looking at other managers. As soon as those rumors come out, and listen, God bless Ben Jacobs, who's like, no, Chelsea have told me that he isn't going, so that's what I'm going to report. For me, I've told you guys for the last 3 games before the international break, as soon as they release those press releases, within seconds of a defeat, you know they're thinking about sacking him. They're thinking about it because they know they're going to get asked a question and they've got a reply. If they're not thinking about it, they're just going to let the journalists.
But Terry,
ask,
what was it? What was
and
important
they're gonna press
yesterday?
release straight away.
But what was important yesterday was the first report of the players turning. Yesterday, we hadn't had that before. It was now the players don't. Now, as soon as that's done, for me, that was it. As soon as you get a first report of the players now not liking him, because you didn't get that before. You've got all these PR interviews going, oh, he's great. He's a very good coach and stuff like that. But yesterday 100%. It was like, oh, now the players don't like him. As soon as that happens, you are walking dead. You're done.
100%. This here from Damasio says Chelsea want to hire Julian Nagelsmann as their new coach, but he is not keen on joining a new team at the moment and wants to wait until next season. That though is the Real Madrid link. That is because again, no disrespect to Chelsea, Nagelsmann's on their shortlist. You are going to wait. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna wait just in case Real Madrid want you. But if Poch is announced as a new Real Madrid manager, which again they're not going to announce Poch until if they go out the Champions League, Real Madrid, so they play you, don't they? That's the irony in it. If they go out, say you knock them out the Champions League, you'll get a resolution to what's going on at Real Madrid. That's the one thing I would say here. Chelsea, as much as you want to come in quickly, the number one target is Nagelsmann. He doesn't want to make a decision yet. You have to wait because what you don't want to do is go, right, we'll go for our fourth choice, and then you make the wrong choice. It's going to be an interesting window. It's going to be about patience. I really do think.
If you do wait, who's going to be in caretaker charge against Real Madrid if you wait? That's what I want to know.
The backup. This is for David. David is exactly who I'm referring to by plastic fan base, Carefree, Prime, etc. All of you hyping up João Felix. Where's your creativity, Messiah? Now,
David, bro,
I don't even know what that's referring to.
How does that refer to a plastic fan base? I don't understand that.
Carefree, Lewis, Prime, you, David, you're all plastic according to how do I pronounce that name? Is it Gilno?
It's
last time Chelsea. Sorry, already done that one there. This says we don't know the issue that Chelsea had behind closed doors. Roman was doing a lot of things. Chelsea Chelsea maybe did have to clear out the old staff. Maybe. This was for Egal. He's not here anymore, though. It says, Egal, shut up. We have a sports minister now, and he is the main reason Potter got sacked. He will get us a good coach. Todd made a mistake. Now it's time to fix things with the new sports minister. Is that the director? Man's saying minister.
Yes, a technical director. Yes, not sports
director.
Minister,
Yeah,
technical director.
Trust the bonus. The bonus. I like that. That's quite a good playing word. Apparently, Bruno, is it pronounced Saltor? Is the new interim? Yeah, according to Fabrizio, he is. According to Fabrizio, he is. Maybe it says it on the website as well. But we will see. Listen, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's come on the show, everyone who's tuned in, my super chatters. Please smash the like button before you leave and get it past 1,000. And of course, click on the link in the live comment section or description below, or scan that QR code on the screen to follow and download our podcast on Spotify. Comes out every Monday and Thursday or Friday, twice a week over there. Get it set up for auto download, but also go and give us a 5-star rating right now on Spotify. It would mean a lot to us if you could go and do that. I think we're nearly up to 100 ratings on there now. We've got about 3,000 or 4,000 new followers. So I'd love you all to rate us because that will help get us more traffic towards the podcast as well. So please go and do that for the terrace. And it's good to see. And by the way, I want to say a little shout out to all my haters who say I talk about Arsenal too much. When there's trending news on top 6 clubs, we go live. But most of these Chelsea fans tuning in right now haven't been tuning in. Thank you very much, Jacob. Just hold that up on the screen again for us.
It literally took me the amount of time it took for you to plug it. That's how long it took me to do it. So there's no excuse.
I wrong button there. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you very much indeed. Go and get that done, people. I don't mind if you leave the stream early to go and do it as well. Go and give that a smash. This Chelsea team lacks character. Bring Brendan Rodgers is what. I bet he ain't a Chelsea fan. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon.